Brendan went to a supermarket and saw signs that read, 5 apples cost $2 and 3 mangoes cost $5.10. And you can see I already attacked the question, and you might notice that this is in purple and this is in black because there are two different items that are being compared. You're going to see in a minute that to solve this accurately, you're going to need to make two ratio tables. Take a look over here. The question says, if these rates, so again I see the word rates, which is like, oh snap, I need to make a ratio table. So anytime you see that word, how much will 4 apples and 4 mangoes cost? So again, we know 5 apples cost $2, so we want to know how much 4 apples cost. And then we know that 3 mangoes cost how much? $5.10, so we want to know how much 4 mangoes cost. So some of you started off by making a ratio table that looks like this. If you did not, please make sure you copy this down. Okay? So pause the tape if you have to and copy this down. If you have it copied down, just keep listening. At this point, you have two choices. You can either figure out how much 1 apple costs and 1 mango costs, and then multiply each of your answers by 4, or you can just put this right into the ratio table. So 5 apples cost $2. How much will 4 apples cost? 3 mangoes cost $5.10. How much will 4 mangoes cost? Okay, so this is the way I'm going to do this problem now. And we're going to solve it by, you guessed it, using cross multiplication. So, this one here is 5 times n equals 4 times 2. So I'm going to put 5 times n. 4 times 2 is what? 8 is correct. And this is where things got a little bit tricky for people. 8 divided by 5 looks like this. 5 going into 8. And they did 1 time. And then they got a remainder of 3. But if we're talking about making our answer look like money, I would have made 8 look like $8. 5 goes into 30 6 times with a remainder of 0. And then you'll end up with the apples, 4 apples, costing $1.60. Okay? So that was the first part. Okay, what I'm going to ask you to do now is pause the tape, do the same exact thing I did for apples, for mangoes, and then press play and see if you get the same answer that I do. Okay, so go ahead and press pause now. Okay, if you're back, cross multiplication, 3 times n equals $5.10 times 4. If you did $5.10 times 4, you would have gotten $20.40. And then once you do your division, $20.40 divided by 3. I'm going to do this right down here. I'm pretty sure after all the math is done, you will have gotten $6.80. So if you did all the math and got $6.80, then props to you. So now we are at the point where we know that 4 apples cost $1.60 and 4 mangoes cost $6.80. So how much will 4 apples and 4 mangoes cost? Well, we're just going to add the $1.60 and the $6.80, and that will give us our final answer of $8.40. That was a lot of work, but the most important part here is recognizing that you needed 2 ratio tables, and then finding the sum at the end. Now, if you look at part B, it's the same exact thing, just with different numbers. So I wrote the same exact ratio tables, but now I'm going to want to know how much 7 apples cost, and I'm going to want to know how much 10 mangoes cost. So what we're going to ask you to do now is, and it's going to be a little bit different than what you're used to after watching videos, we're going to ask you to fill in the rest of this ratio table, solve both of these, and add them up just like we did before. If you get an answer of $19.80, then you've done this problem correctly, but it's the same exact steps as before. So go ahead and try it on your own, and just raise your hand if you end up not getting $19.80, because we'll come by and help you.